Imagine standing in the middle of a perfectly ordinary morning, a morning just like any other in your life. You're haggling over the price of bread with a vendor. A familiar ritual, the cheerful laughter of children echoes through the cobblestone streets. The warm, comforting scent of freshly baked bread hangs heavy in the air. Everything feels so utterly familiar, so utterly safe, that not a single doubt crosses your mind. Yet, in just 4 short hours, the entire world, the very ground beneath your feet, will be irrevocably erased by a cataclysmic fury of nature, a wrath unprecedented in human history. This isn't a dramatic movie script designed to shock. This is the authentic, visceral story of 20,000 souls in Pompeii on the 24th of August, 79 AD. And today, we will step back in time together to that precise moment. But what makes this narrative so compelling, so impossible to turn away from, is this. These people are not distant, dusty figures from history books. They are you and I. They too believed that tomorrow would be exactly like today. And it was this dangerous complacency, a deeply ingrained human tendency that we, even with our modern advancements, still carry within us, that ultimately cost them their lives. Are you thinking, this could never happen to me? Right now, hold that thought. Wait until the very end of our journey, because the answer might send a shiver down your spine. Picture it. A man is bargaining for his morning loaf, a routine he's enacted countless times. The baker, a weary but practiced hand, sighs with familiar exasperation, just as he does every other morning. They are locked in a timeless, trivial interaction, utterly unaware that in mere hours, everything they are, everything they own, everything they take for granted will vanish forever. You are walking the ancient, sun-warmed stone streets of Pompeii on that fateful morning, August 24th, 79 AD. The air is mild, the light golden, and every sight and sound suggests a day as normal as any other. But we, with the terrible clarity of hindsight, know that in just 4 short hours, this vibrant city will confront a catastrophe unmatched in its history. Allow yourself to be truly present there, right now. Behind the man and the baker, a donkey, its coat dusty from years of labor, turns a volcanic stone mill in slow, steady circles, a rhythmic hum, almost like the very heartbeat of the city. The sweet, earthy aroma of fresh bread wafts from the open bakeries, comforting and deeply familiar. A woman, her voice sharp with indignation, bickers at a food stall over the contents of yesterday's stew, her complaint carrying easily in the morning air. A stray dog, oblivious to the world, sleeps soundly on the warm, ancient stones of a nearby alley, curled in a patch of sunlight. 2 children dash across the vast expanse of the forum, their giggles mingling with the good-natured shouts of a man who is most certainly not their father, chasing after them. This is a city alive, a powerful, boisterous, busy, and ceaselessly moving organism. It is August 24th, 79 AD, and in approximately 4 hours, every single person you are picturing in this moment will look up, their gazes drawn to the majestic mountain they have lived beneath their entire lives, the mountain their parents lived under and their grandparents before them. And in that terrifying moment, they will realize, far too late, that they were never truly safe. But here's the twist. We won't talk about the disaster just yet. We will return to Pompeii, not to its ruins, not to its terrifying end, but to the vibrant morning before, to a city of 20,000 souls, living their ordinary lives, utterly unaware of what was about to unfold. So, continue to imagine yourself strolling these very streets. Feel the warmth radiating from the ancient stones beneath your sandals. Inhale the rich tapestry of scents, fresh bread, savory street food, pungent garum. Hear the symphony of voices, laughter, sharp bargaining, the playful shouts of children. But you, the observer from another time, possess a knowledge they do not. And it is this chilling awareness that will clutch at your heart. Pompeii boasted 35 bakeries. 35 bakeries for a population of 20,000 people. The reason was elegantly simple. Romans rarely cooked at home. Most apartments lacked kitchens entirely. The city, in essence, fed itself through these bustling establishments. The donkey, a silent, tireless workhorse, had turned its grinding mill every single morning of its life. It expected to do the same tomorrow, unless, but we're not speaking of that yet. When archaeologists meticulously excavated these bakeries, they found carbonized loaves of bread still nestled within the ovens, frozen in time, round, robust loaves with distinctive scoring on their crusts, uncannily similar to artisan breads baked today. Someone, just hours before the end, had shaped them by hand, placed them in the heat, and hoped to sell them before noon. They never got the chance. Pause for a second and truly envision those warm hands, the familiar, comforting labor of a perfectly normal morning. This was the authentic, breathing life of ordinary people. And what's truly poignant is that these very loaves, charred and preserved, would later become the most eloquent, heartbreaking testament to a profound truth we will uncover at the very end of this story. By 7 in the morning, the streets were a hive of activity, narrow, noisy, and relentlessly alive. Look down at your feet. The paving stones aren't just a surface, they are an ingenious urban drainage system. And those large stepping stones, placed strategically across the thoroughfares, were set at a precise height, allowing chariot wheels to pass neatly between them. Pedestrians could traverse the city without wading through puddles or refuse. This wasn't primitive, it was remarkably clever engineering. But if you were there, walking these very paths, what would you truly feel as you stepped across those ancient stones, feeling their worn surfaces beneath your feet? You walk along the main commercial street and see a barber at work, his tools glinting in the morning light, set up right on the pavement, no walls separating his trade from the passing crowds. Next to him is at times the Thermopolium, Pompeii's bustling version of fast food. Hot meals were served directly from ceramic jars embedded in a stone counter. Scientists, upon analyzing their contents, found traces of duck, pork, fish, snails, and beef. Varied and seasoned, they were the quick, flavorful meals of a city with its own distinct palate and opinions about lunch. But it's the walls themselves that truly capture your attention, making you pause. Pompeii has over 11,000 recorded pieces of graffiti. These weren't acts of vandalism, they were a vibrant form of communication, the city's ancient internet. Political campaigns, personal insults, heartfelt poetry, shrewd business reviews, impassioned declarations of love. A man named Successus inscribed on a wall that he was deeply in love with a tavern waitress named Iris. Someone else, perhaps a rival or a cynic, scrawled beneath it that Iris cared nothing for him. Successus, in turn, wrote back, defending his affections. The argument remains there, etched in stone, 2 millennia later, still unresolved. These people are not characters from a distant, ancient past. They are, in every fundamental way, just like us. If you were standing there, would you smile wryly or shake your head at their timeless squabbles? But the truly arresting thought is this: even in the midst of their heated debate, they had no idea that in just a few hours, all these words, all these everyday passions, would be buried forever. At the very heart of the city lay the Forum, a grand open space. That particular morning, it was especially vibrant, for Pompeii was in the throes of an election cycle. The city governed itself, its officials elected annually by popular vote. The campaign slogans scrawled thickly across every available wall attest to the fierce competition of that year. But the Forum was more than just politics. It was the nexus of religion, justice, and social display. The temples were not isolated structures, but an integral part of public life. Priests performed morning rituals at altars as routinely as civil servants reported for duty. Just behind the bustling theatre lay the gladiatorial barracks. And if you imagine gladiators as enslaved men forced unwillingly into the arena, desperate and terrified, Hollywood has largely fabricated that narrative. The reality was far more complex and infinitely more fascinating. The most skilled gladiators were professional athletes, celebrities in their own right. They had careers, significant incomes, contracts, and legions of devoted fans. Their names were plastered on walls, women penned romantic poems about them, and some earned fortunes. Pompeii was as captivated by these games as we are by professional sports today. People had their idols, debated outcomes, placed bets, and held passionate opinions, which they expressed with unbridled enthusiasm. That morning, in the training yard, they were engaged in methodical, technical, repetitive practice, devoid of any theatrical flair. It was the diligent, professional maintenance work between performances. These men had no inkling that this was their very last practice. But do you notice how utterly normal their lives were, even in their extraordinary profession? And it is this profound ordinariness that makes their story all the more heartbreaking. Now, let us venture to the northern side of the city, to the opulent homes of the wealthy elite. Their architecture was designed to draw everything inward: light, water, and the very attention of those who entered. A central impluvium opened to the sky, collecting rainwater, its cool surface reflecting the garden paintings on the surrounding walls, where fragrant roses bloomed in the courtyard. On a dressing table, one might find bronze tweezers, delicate hairpins, a small polished mirror, and perfume bottles that, when unearthed, still retained the faint, ancient scent of their contents. The desire to adorn oneself, to present a polished face to the world, is as ancient as civilization itself. The poignant detail of a perfume bottle, still full, still fragrant, cannot help but move you. Yet, this comfort and exquisite beauty rested upon a foundation that must be frankly acknowledged. The serene comfort of these homes was purchased through the discomfort of others. The enslaved people who maintained these estates rose long before dawn, their labor the unseen engine of this luxury. At the very entrance, meticulously crafted from thousands of tiny mosaic tiles, were 4 chilling words: Cave Canem, beware of the dog. That ancient warning sign remains in place to this day, a silent sentinel. Imagine stepping across that threshold, feeling the deceptive peace of a world built on profound inequality. A world just hours from unraveling. Journeying to the southern reaches of the city, your senses would be assaulted first by the smells: fish, salt, and the intensely pungent, fermenting aroma of Time's garum. Garum was a fermented fish sauce produced in workshops lining this very coast. It was the most widely traded condiment in the entire ancient world. Garum, from Campania, graced tables from Britain to Egypt. It was the very soul of Roman flavor. The port that morning was operating at full capacity, its docks bustling with the urgent task of transporting garum, along with the rich, volcanic wines and golden olive oil. The trade routes of the Bay of Naples did not halt for minor tremors or dwindling wells. The market stalls were overflowing, showcasing plump figs, glossy olives, crunchy walnuts, sweet dried dates, freshly baked bread, and robust wines. The Mediterranean diet of 79 AD was remarkably similar to what we enjoy today, a testament to an astonishing culinary continuity across 2 millennia. Beneath the grandeur of its temples, its political machinations, and its gladiatorial spectacles lay a meticulously tuned commercial engine, a city built on movement, on the ceaseless flow of goods from one place to another, and the steady exchange of currency. That morning, the machine was running perfectly. It would not run tomorrow, but what was stirring deep beneath the earth remained an unseen, unheard secret. And this is precisely when the story begins to pivot, shifting towards a trajectory no one in the city could possibly have imagined. Now, I want you to consider this question honestly. If the water tap in your home stopped running this morning, would you immediately pack your bags and evacuate your city? Most likely not. You would call the water company, fill a few bottles, perhaps grumble about the inconvenience, and certainly not perceive your life to be in immediate danger. In the days leading up to August 24th, the wells in Pompeii and its surrounding areas began to mysteriously run dry. Subterranean water tables were shifting. Something profound was moving deep beneath the earth. We understand this now with our scientific knowledge, but the people of 79 AD had no such understanding, for the very concept of a volcano as we know it simply did not exist. The ground itself began to crack. New fissures appeared in roads and in the floors of homes. Horses refused to eat, their instincts screaming warnings. Dogs, usually loyal companions, balked at entering their own houses, and the birds were about to make a decision that would put every human in the city to shame for their lack of situational awareness. Small tremors had been increasing since dawn, a persistent low rumble, but Pompeii had a frame of reference for such shaking. The devastating earthquake of 62 AD had ravaged the region, and the city had spent 17 arduous years rebuilding itself. So, when cups rattled and floorboards groaned, the inhabitants simply assumed it was another earthquake. It would pass. They had survived before. But do you feel it? This calm, this self-assurance that was masking a colossal miscalculation. And it is this very denial, this dangerous human tendency that we ourselves repeat every single day, that will etch this story into your memory long after it concludes. Around 11 in the morning, a chilling sight unfolded. Every single bird perched on the columns of the forum, without a single trigger of alarm, simultaneously took flight. They didn't scatter in fright. They flew straight away from the mountain, a unified, instinctive exodus. They never returned. Then, at approximately 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the peak of Vesuvius was torn apart. There was no final, grand warning. One moment, the mountains stood there, green and familiar, a steadfast presence in their landscape. The next, it was gone. The eruption column surged skyward at a terrifying speed, rising dozens of meters per second, ultimately reaching over 20 kilometers into the stratosphere. What rained down on Pompeii first was pumice. Small, porous volcanic stones fell from the heavens like a relentless, grey hailstorm. This initial phase, deceptively mild, lasted for hours. Pumice accumulated at a rate of roughly 15 centimeters, 6 inches per hour. And this is what changed everything. It didn't kill immediately. This was the precious window of time to escape. Most of those who survived were the ones who seized this agonizing opportunity. They wrapped cloths around their heads, gathered what little they could carry, and began the desperate journey out of the city gates. They did not look back. Most would never return. Many, clinging to a desperate hope that this was temporary, buried their most precious valuables before leaving, intending to retrieve them once everything settled. We know this because archaeologists continue to discover caches of silver buried beneath floorboards. Windows were slammed shut more quickly than anyone could have imagined. The pumice piled up, past knees, then past hips. Roofs, heavy with the accumulating debris, began to collapse under the weight. Ground floor doors became impossible to open due to the immense external pressure. The streets, once bustling avenues of life, became impassable, treacherous terrains of choking ash and stone. And then, a suffocating, absolute darkness descended. Those who remained inside their homes, huddled in terror, made a final, fatal calculation. They reasoned that a sturdy Roman house with thick walls would surely be safer than navigating the blind, suffocating chaos outside. Between midnight and dawn on August 25th, the colossal eruption column began to lose stability. As it collapsed, the immense volume of material that had been held aloft for hours suddenly plummeted back to Earth, surging outwards in every direction. These were the pyroclastic flows, superheated clouds of gas, ash, and rock, moving at incredible speeds. At approximately 6:30 a.m. on August 25th, the fourth pyroclastic surge, the most devastating, engulfed Pompeii. Those who had sought shelter in even the strongest, most fortified buildings were instantly killed by the searing heat shock, often before the actual cloud even reached their walls. Then, an almost unbearable silence fell across the Bay of Naples, a profound hush that would last for nearly 1,700 years. When Pompeii was eventually uncovered, everything was preserved in an eerie, perfect tableau. Bread still sat in the ovens. The stepping stones, so ingeniously designed, remained precisely where they had been placed. The Beware of the Dog mosaic still dutifully guarded the entrance of a house that now had no roof, no family, no life. Those carbonized loaves now rest in the Naples Museum, blackened but retaining their exact shape and the distinctive scoring on their crusts. The chasm between the warm hand that kneaded that dough and the museum's display case spans 2,000 years, yet in that frozen moment, the distance feels like nothing at all. Vesuvius still stands there, a beautiful, formidable presence. It has erupted more than 50 times since 79 AD. Today, 3 million people reside within its immediate danger zone. Volcanologists monitor it ceaselessly, their instruments constantly alert. They cannot tell us when, but they know it times will, times erupt again. And yet, 3 million people continue to live there, because Vesuvius has always been there, because the soil it nourishes is incredibly fertile, because it is home, because the calculation that the danger is real but statistically unlikely to occur within their lifetime holds a certain seductive logic. The people of Pompeii were making the very same precise calculation on that ordinary morning of August 24th. The only difference is that today we possess better tools. From my perspective, Pompeii is not merely a cautionary tale about volcanoes. It is a mirror. Every city, in its core, believes the ground beneath it is eternal. Every human being believes their Tuesday morning will invariably lead to a Tuesday evening. The people of Pompeii argued about politics, worried about their appearance, indulged their pets, had sports idols, grabbed fast food on their way to work, and woke up on a perfectly ordinary morning, innocently expecting to go to sleep that night. They did not feel like ancient history. They felt exactly like you and I. And that, precisely, is what Pompeii has been preserved to show us. But there is an even deeper, more profound legacy that Pompeii leaves for us today, especially for those who have weathered life's many ebbs and flows. Put yourself squarely in their shoes. You have undoubtedly had mornings just like theirs, mornings when everything felt stable, when you genuinely believed that tomorrow would be an echo of today. A mother in Pompeii was likely cradling her child, whispering reassurances that everything would be all right, even as the first, light ash began to dust their rooftop. A father might have been promising his son a trip to the gladiator games that very weekend, utterly unaware that it was to be his last promise. These were not distant figures from dusty textbooks. They were mothers, fathers, children, our neighbors. And it is precisely for this reason that their story transcends mere history. It stands as the most poignant reminder for our generation, and those younger, that dangerous denial is an inherent human instinct, an error we, tragically, continue to repeat every single day. We may possess smartphones and precise weather forecasts, but the human heart still clings stubbornly to the hope of tomorrow. Pompeii teaches us that hope is beautiful, but a clear-eyed awareness of the present is what truly allows us to survive and, more importantly, to cherish. If, today, as you read these words, you feel a tremor in your soul, please pause for a second and think of the person you hold dearest. Call them, utter a loving word, or simply hold them a little tighter. Because life, as Pompeii so starkly demonstrated, can change in an instant. And if this story has touched you, please share it with someone you care about, so they, too, may be reminded that every ordinary morning is an invaluable gift. We will continue this journey, exploring similar stories, timeless lessons from history that remain profoundly relevant to our lives today.